Hey everyone, this is Kris, and I guess I've waited, 3 to 4 months on posting, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know, and right in there. And overall, this whole time, Kristen has been fronting fully and not allowing like our personalities to help or influence a lot, and just kind of like really needed a time of knowing that ultimately she had a will that could be in control. Not to say that that's true, but that was just like something that she didn't want to let go of. And in December, early, like, I don't know, December 5th or somewhere in there, for the first time since one of the most darkest traumas that I have gone through, I ran into that abuser, and I mean, I hadn't seen him since, and even though it's 10 years later, I was really shocked because when I saw him, it was alarming because he was in, police attire and had a gun, and I always was scared that he would be a policeman because he was a policeman in the military, but I just, I freaked out in a way for a moment. I had one big panic attack. I hadn't had panic attacks in months, and then I had this one big panic attack driving, and that was because I ran into him at my gym, which was my prior work for years, and he had apparently worked there for years in the security office with cameras and stuff, and so I'm sure he's seen me, and I've never known that he was around, and it just kind of, it brought me out. I realized that, out of all of the parts of self that are highest functioning, and someone who looks for things to be optimistic fuel, so to speak, and tries to bounce back quick and prides herself in that, and like just is that's really myself. So interesting thing, because I was put aside strongly and also requested that all of us integrate. So Alaya and me, or Michael, or Chrissy, Kristen, all the different age groups of me that, I noticed that there was still a disconnect between her, all of us, and her function, and so it was hard for her to receive the quicker, fuller benefits and understanding and clarity of what her whole self really sees and thinks. Kristen, as the main co-host who won't let anyone else host, she didn't have the understanding of all of us, and so she also stopped believing that she dealt with any fragmentation of self, like, whoa, well, if I can shut it off, then it must not be real. But I think that, I feel a distinct disconnect from the total self, and I feel I've aged differently and have been paused at a different time, and even though it's not like the movies, or even though I'm aware of her and her thoughts and feelings, and there's not a full disconnect or anything, I can tell, like, then there's me as a personality, and so to get to my point, is it appeared that in her attempting to do this and kind of switching some of her meds, that she felt was causing disassociation, which it, I don't know. She had kind of this command and wish and mental need for integration, but it was integration of us and not as much her together with us. And she kind of just accepted she was just that and cultivated that fully and realized how to just continue cultivating that, you know, her goals and traits forward. And but once in early December, so it's been 2.5 months ago now, once she ran into that perpetrator and was triggered, I really stepped in automatically to help her use that as fuel for decision making and to quit letting any of that stuff or anxiety, depression be excuses to rob her of her moving forward, you know, and that the belief systems that she had that she can't do it, or the belief systems that she might lose her husband because he doesn't actually think she's that intelligent or, you know, like could do that well. Sorry, I got a text. You know, it was just really hoarding over me. It's like, well, how can I move on? It's like I have to be perfect in my depression, anxiety before I can ever start my career. It's like, what if I'm never perfect? I mean, I don't want to do that. I think I can handle it all. And so Kristen and I both have felt like we can start to handle this more, but I just naturally stepped in after seeing her recruiter, not right away, but slowly and steadily, to try to encourage optimism outlooks as my main role. I feel like that I add to the system, and try to add, you know, how do you use this as fuel? You know, just really like cheerleading the situation and not actually getting stuck in the emotional downs of what it could do. Sorry, my hair is crazy. Look, I shaved some of my head. And I haven't done my hair, so it doesn't look good at all. But when I curl it or something, super... okay. Anyway, so I... you know... so let me backtrack. The interesting thing is when we all integrated, ages changed. It was like picking up developmental aspects or depth or whatever that wouldn't necessarily connect. And so 6 months ago, I was 14 and a half, but at this point, I'm 23, and although that's not as old as the body age, I feel like, okay, I'm 23 and I'm like a little behind on college and these goals that I have, and I'm gonna pick myself up and I'm gonna do them, and it's totally fine. And I'll be like 30 by the time that I graduate, and mentally. And I think that that's important to note, because like my youthfulness and my passion and drive for like the thing that I like the most, and really comes from a lot of me. Like I held a lot of that at my age. And so I don't know, maybe in 2 years time I'll age up to the body age, or maybe it'll take a while. I'm not really sure. But I just know that I'm the one that holds the more perfectionist, goal-driven energy and excitement and pride, and I was really kind of needed to like make sure that when this happened, and then to stick around when she was pretty upset about considering a big life change and moving to Tulsa or something, because for part-time, because Kristen, because her mom kind of suddenly changing her mind about needed surgeries and maybe wanting to give up soon, and it's just really down, and so I decided to stick around, and also to try to kind of stuff down and be optimistic and to be a good wife, at 23 to my husband, and support him through his grandfather dying and his dog dying. And then Dark Moon Kristen, not Kristen, but the 15-year-old Dark Moon Kristen, stepped in and wrote Holly about her feelings of hurt and disappointment, and feeling the need to defend that she's not the negative realm of people she's known before. And I don't know if that bottled upsetness came out with me being sad about the grandfather dying, because I really cared for him, and I felt like I didn't have an outlet to talk about it because it's not my grandfather, it's my husband's, and like I'm just supposed to be supportive of him and strong, but I also felt upset. And yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. Oh, I know where I was going with that. So there was this drama with like a co-owner of this investment place that we bought a house at to retire at and maybe raise our children at, even if we're old or something or whatever. And I love that place, and I really respected my two teachers and the owners there so much more than even myself, that it's hard to even want to ask questions or be around them or feel worthy to be their friend. And I feel like they misinterpret a lot of me or something as that shyness or unworthiness in me is actually a challenge to them, or judging them, and it's been kind of painful to deal with. But I tried to express my feelings about her saying that she thinks I'm a manipulative person and all this stuff. This story of that I'm saying about my trauma, the story I'm making up probably isn't real. I'm just intelligent and highly manipulative, and all this stuff to my husband's mother, and crazy things in the middle of my lowest time in 10 years for reasons. I wasn't just sitting on the couch eating Cheetos and got really low. Back-to-back things happened that no one was aware of, nor was anyone talking about. And that was earlier in the year. You guys have probably heard a little about that, I don't know. But it took me a long time to think to address her, and I just thought it's the end of the year. I've gone through a lot of AA, and I don't think I'm alcoholic now, but I love the steps, and I think they're important for anybody. So I wanted to mend and be look, just basically I don't know what impression I've given you that you think I'm manipulative or these horrible things, but that's not me. And and really don't worry, I'm not a risk for being irrationally dangerous or pulling a gun on you or running someone over. All these examples that was defended to me of why she I don't know. Anyway, so that happened in the end of December, and then by January 3rd, because instead of telling me don't contact me again or just blocking me or anything, she decided to call my husband the day after his grandfather died and to read the messages and to say finally out loud how manipulative I am, and definitely didn't read all the messages, left a lot out of context, I found out, which is manipulative, and twisted my words, things blamed us for trying to ruin her reputation. None of that was in the messages, super twisting things. And I just knew that that would snap him, because I knew he would feel he had to choose between the Shala or this place where we have our home invested versus his wife, and that's exactly what he told his therapist, which I was horrified to hear about. And we weren't really having a lot of problems, but now we are signing divorce papers, and it's more that the built-up year, just, he's not able to give me any of, the top 5 priorities I have, and the one priority he has, like, I get a little resentful that I'm minimized to that, because it's just not that important to me or how I'm raised. And I hate that he said, like, because I don't do good at that, I don't care or appreciate. You know, I'm really, it's healthy. We're getting along, we're friends, and I realized that, you know, to be super misunderstood by people, at some point, they either have to listen and trust you, or you just accept that they don't trust you, and can't be moved and changed by what you say, and you just gotta let go, even if you love them. And so this is my new room. Yeah, and I pretty much, as of this morning, you know, since filing for it, we've kind of gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth. I'm trying to figure out what I can do, but this morning on my own, before hearing back, I just realized that this is what I need to. You know, I'm really just tired of not being seen for my value and my intellect and my honesty and integrity and, like, so many things. The urge to do the right thing and the spiritual thing and to work on things and to prioritize people over other things. And so anyway, that's how that's going. Yes, but things are going good as far as I am now enrolled in school. I've decided on becoming a therapist, which is great. It took me a long time, though. I'm hoping for 6 years. Wish me luck. And business opportunities to support those needs of living in college are looking really good. Not only like my business that I run and having more space or place for that, but also like finding part-time work to supplement. And you know, my husband's given me just enough to be stable to, you know, hopefully keep pursuing that. And so I'm really looking forward to it. It's like, wow, this is the first time that when the relationship failed, I didn't lose everything. You know, I mean, I had to move, but I got to keep my car, and I got to, you know, be stable enough financially to make it. And, you know, I've been disability and not working, but I was ready to start working, like, in November and mentioning that. So I feel authentically ready, not, like, forced into it from the situation. And I'm also getting help to save, you know, which will be helpful for college and whatever I need. So, yeah. So some things are going really good. I'm really connecting spiritually, allowing Alaya's influence. You know, it's already integrated with me. She has become a permanent insider as far as I know, but not that it won't change. But, like, that's her status now. She doesn't come out, and she's kind of merged a little bit with my philosophy, which is actually means that neither is really there. So it's interesting, but her passion for it and for daily practice of it and mentally aligning with it is, you know, has integrated with me. And so she's kind of fading in her very mystical inner queendom way. But a lot of the power that she symbolized, being more than elven, but like being a mystical being, that, you know, was of the sea and then of the land, and like these elements, and then having elemental spirituality in its symbolism and healing and meditation and what that represents in seasons and cycles and all that stuff is really integrated with me, which is more of a book space, neurological thinking person. And it's a good blend. I really like it. So I kind of have grown because of her, because she is so much older than everybody in the system, that when we integrated first together before anyone else, they just started speeding up my growth. Michael is the slowest to integrate. The Littles have integrated since learning of my divorce and that trauma. They very minimally, just their influence is being brought up through me a little bit, as far as play more, like lavish more, and like simple, extremely simple, cute, girly things. My room's like really girly. Like there's roses up there and flowers, and look at my new blanket. It's adorable. Peacock and flowers, and he's sitting on top of an open cage, and there's beautiful flowers. I don't know. Going all girly. I bought a fish. Samhari, let me show you him. Okay. So this is his tank. He's got a cute lotus. Hi, Samhari. I hope I didn't overfeed you, but it looks like I did. He's a beautiful beta. And I have the Zen space in there for him. A little mermaid watching him. It's really cute. But yeah, so I'm just about to start a totally different type of healing with a divorce. And, you know, I really didn't actually see it coming, but it seems to be what we both need, actually. Like, I feel relieved. I mean, I'm in love. I love him. I guess my in love feeling has faded a while, as is his, but I love him, and I just, you know, I just feel like I deserve a relationship. If I'm in a relationship, I gotta be available to it, and it's hard to not take it personal when someone can't give that to you, and so, I don't know. I'm happy, regardless that some days, like, it's like, oh, this is not what I was planning. But I'm moving forward in pretty productive ways. I'm happy about that. That's all I gotta say, guys. Also, definitely reading some good books. Returning to some Aleister Crowley studies, and trying to practice tarot again more. It's been like 4 months or something since I've been practicing, but as a meditation. I'm looking forward to that tonight. So hopefully I'll be posting more of that and just connecting again more on social media now that I'm going through a time that I need support again. And yeah, I'm realizing that I guess just because I controlled the fronting doesn't mean that I just didn't have DID. It's very confusing. Anyway, I don't know. Sayonara, guys. Leave comments. I've missed you all.